Hi, I'm Hugh Sullivan, videographer for the Herald and Review, and this week it's going to be a literal behind the lens episode because I'm going to talk about the setup that I use for doing these weekly vlogs. When I first started doing these, I was researching to see what setups other people do because, you know, there's tons of people out there doing these things. They get millions of views a day, and so I thought, well, they're obviously doing it right. Well, a lot of these people, I mean, this is their main thing. That's what they do for a living, some of them. So they've got really big fancy setups. I mean, some of them have a giant ring light with two big soft boxes, and, you know, they're using DSLRs on tripods. But this is my office. This is the space that I use to do all of my work throughout the week. So when I'm only using this once a week for a half hour, it's really kind of a pain to set that up and tear it down every time I want to do it. I'm the type of person who wants to spend a lot of time up front to set up some streamlined process to do something, especially if that's something that I'm going to be doing regularly. I don't want to have to nickel and dime little setup things every single time I start. So I didn't want to use the big lights. I didn't want to have to set up light stands and tripods all the time. So after experimenting for a long time, I finally settled on the Logitech C920. It's a nice small webcam that I can just leave on my computer. What I really like about this webcam is that I've got full control over all of my exposure and white balance settings, and it doesn't actually give me my aperture and shutter speed, but it lets me change the actual exposure and the gain and the white balance, which is really nice. And actually the focus too. If I zoom all the way in with the focus, you can get super close with this thing, which is pretty ridiculous. Now, it's got a microphone built into it, which is pretty good, but I already had an MXL 990, so I use that. But you could use the microphone right inside the webcam. And then for lighting, sometimes I would use the little on-camera LED light setup that I have. I would kind of stick it next to the GoPro or put it up on a speaker or something. And I still wanted something that was more permanent. That way I could just turn it on and go, just like the webcam. And I found these little lights at Target. I already wanted a desk lamp, and I was looking for one. And when I saw these, they looked like little movie lights, and they worked perfect. I bought two of them, threw a 40-watt bulb in each of them, and now they sit up on this desk here. And when I want to shoot these, I just point them at my face and turn them on and go. And then when I'm not using them and I'm working at night and I just want a little desk lamp, I just point them up. They bounce off the bottom of that shelf there, and it gives me a nice soft light on my desk. So this isn't a very expensive setup, but it ended up being the most simple and quick setup for me. So Logitech C920, MXL 990, and two little lights from Target, and now I can shoot when I want, fast. And that was perfect for this weekend because I went out to Wendy's and I grabbed some of the pulled pork cheese fries, and I thought, you know what, this might be fun to talk about on camera. And instead of having to set up a bunch of stuff and letting the food get cold and then just kind of getting sick of the idea before I even got started, I was able to just come in and say, you know what, this might be funny to eat this on camera. And I just sat down, turned everything on, and I was going. So by a long shot, this isn't the fanciest setup, but I think it's the easiest setup, and it's actually one of the cheapest ones out there. So hopefully this helped if you're thinking about doing something like this. I know there's tons of videos out there about setups, but they're all either expensive or take up a lot of space. This one I think is the cheapest, and it's the fastest, and it barely takes up any space in the room that you're shooting in, and I like that a lot. So thanks for watching. Subscribe to this channel. Go check out my personal channel where I do filmmaking and all sorts of other fun stuff. And as always, check back every week where I talk about my experiences behind the camera.